So, really disappointing finish, to that game, 2-year home winning streak on the line, and playing Alabama and ball in our hands to win. So, we didn't do it. Watch 2 other teams do it this year, and Tennessee and LSU, and finish right at the end when you have a chance to do it. So, commend those guys. Those guys got a great team, and when you have the Heisman Trophy winner, and I've said it all week, so I ain't making it up now. The guy puts his cape on and takes over when no one else is making plays around him. So did a great job, like Bryce does, and we didn't finish. So really a shame. Really waste of a lot of things.
Lane, can you just kind of take us through that last offensive drive?
Yeah, went really fast. It just seemed like the whole thing went fast, obviously, and, in a 2-minute situation, just knew we had issues with their rushers, and for whatever reason, they were only playing one of them at a time early in the first half, and so we were able to know where one of them was, and then when they both go in, it becomes a different game. So tried to pop some runs in there, which were effective, and then, stalled down there at the end. Tried to go back to a fade to Malik, who he really dominated that matchup the entire day over there, and and then didn't make plays at the end. So as always, we can make plays and we can call better plays. So
we've talked about this kind of throughout the season, Lane, but the second half offense, you haven't been able to score the way you have been in the first half pretty much consistently all season. Do you have any idea at this point in the year why you think that is?
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I don't think it's been the whole season. It wasn't the last game, at A&M. We had a really good third quarter. I do think people get used to the speed, like I've said before, and so a lot of times it works better early. It's kind of been the case a lot of times. Now, the game was a strange game in the third quarter because you look up and we have one series. I think we had one series maybe for 14 minutes or something like that, and actually scored on it, scored a touchdown. So, and then we had back-to-back 3-and-outs. So I think offhand, until they're at the end, there's only 3 series there for, a quarter and a half.
I think you held Alabama to, 22 yards in the first quarter. And just in the first half in general, what do you feel like was kind of working defensively?
I thought our guys did a really good job, and, they were one-dimensional. They had, no ability to run the ball, and at times didn't care to. So, and, I get it. They got Bryce, and he makes you end up throwing the ball a lot. So I thought our defense did a really good job early and late. In the middle, not as great, but plenty good enough to win. When you play that team, especially at home, we got to score more points.
Just curious what you told the team after the game, and how do you keep heads held high after such a disappointing loss, like you said?
I mean, it is what it is. It's just a shame. Unfortunately, it's going to be one of those games. I didn't say it's them, but it is. It's going to be one of those games you remember your whole life that it was right.
Lane,
I'm
sorry.
That it was right there, with a chance to win. So, and to me, you'd always rather have the ball than be playing defense against Bryce. So, to have the ball in our hands, chance to win. I actually, not that it mattered in the play calling and what was going on, but, as we were driving down there, I would have taken the score, don't get me wrong, but it was almost like as we took a little more time in the red zone, I was saying, okay, this is good. We obviously just still want to score because I really didn't feel like handing him the ball back with, a minute left.
Looked like defensively you guys chose to attack Bryce more in the first half than you did last year. Is that so, and what did you think of that strategy?
I mean, there's, you can look at the analytics of it, 3-man rush, and versus Bryce, his completion percentage off the charts against it. So he's just, you know, and the guy's won the Heisman Trophy. He's a great player and gives you problems because he's a elite thrower, but then the first guy rarely gets him down, and he extends plays. And like I said, once he's not in rhythm where he sets his feet and then he moves off the target, you're probably in trouble. You don't have a very good feeling because something's going to go wrong because he's going to find a way to make a play somehow unless somebody drops the ball, basically. So he's special.
Lane, in the back, how critical is that fumble at the end of the first half, or it turns into a touchdown and the momentum kind of swings going into halftime?
Yeah, and there's really a 10-point swing there, and they start the third quarter with a field goal. So yeah, that was obviously discouraging, and is what it is. And Zach took a big hit, and unfortunately the ball came out. He actually, as you can figure out, ended up with a concussion there and didn't return on the play. So a really good play by them, and obviously a big deal to hand 7 points away right there.
Lane, kind of looking back on that final drive, Quinshawn had the 14-yard run to get that next first down, and then he wasn't kind of involved in those next couple of plays. Looking back, do you kind of wish that you had him involved there a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it with a little time to think, and I think that's very, very fair. And I always want to do something different if it didn't work. But he was also really tired, and as you guys know with us, you're going to sub. You're going to allow them to take forever and sub and basically give them a timeout and take him out of the game. And Zach was already out of the game with concussion. So, yeah, I wish we would have stayed with that. But also, that's a normal situation where we would have got him out because he was so tired. And you also you can't predict everything. They played coverage, and a lot of times after those explosive runs, as you get in the red zone, they'll come after you. And they didn't. So, that head coach and defensive coordinator make a lot of money for a reason. They're really good. So,
Lane, I don't know if you can take a big picture in a moment like this, but I mean, you're one touchdown away from beating Alabama. Your program's 8-2. How does this program, I guess, take that next step and keep ascending?
make one more play. I mean, it ain't some magic formula of, we got to go change all these things or do all these things different, Games come down to one possession, one play games like that, and one side makes the plays and finds a way to win. And those guys have been in a number of them this year. Texas has them like that, and the corner comes free and Bryce makes a miss. So, I don't know, you don't change your whole program when you're sitting at 8-2 and just lost your first home game in 2 years.
Do you have any positive takeaways from a game like this?
I mean, not right now. I'm sure there'd be people out there would say, well, you played Alabama and down to one play and all that stuff, but and these usually get worse by the hour, because it sinks in more and more, everything that was at stake there and how hard you work all off season during a week of preparation, all that stuff. And one play losses are always the hardest.
Lane, I noticed right when the game ended, usually I've noticed coaches go up to the other head coach to shake hands, but I saw you walked right up to Bryce first and you whispered something in his ear. You had a little moment with him. What did you say to him?
Yeah, I probably shouldn't share what I said to him. He's an unbelievable player. Put the team on his back again, like he does. Whatever team's going to get a great player next year, won't have to play him anymore.
I guess even in defeat, you can still rush for 135 yards against one of the better rush defenses in the country. I mean, just kind of assess just what you saw through him just throughout 60 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know, guys, let me just explain it really well. I don't really give a shit about how many yards we had, how close the game was. We didn't win the game. And 2 years ago, we walked off this field, and I said, we didn't come here to cover spreads. We didn't come here to play what at the time was the #1 team in the country close. So all these things about, well, you did this good, and freshman running back, you rushed, it doesn't matter. We didn't win the game. So, maybe some other places that's good, or it's been here and good in the past. It ain't good enough. We came here to win, to beat Alabama. We didn't do it. So we're 0-1 today. So.
Players will be in short. Thanks.
All right, thanks.